The theme for today's celebration is Inspire and Create, and we have amazing guest speakers and fun activities planned for you. We hope that you can participate in some or all of the activities that we've planned for the day. Please make sure that you've downloaded today's program because it will be your key to all of the activities and your tool so that you can follow along with the opening remarks and then understand what's going on for the duration of today's celebration. As I said, we're excited for you to be here today, and to date, I want to say that we have 196 champions, and supporting those champions, we also have 46 department leads who represent city departments and who are our well-being ambassadors. Champions support the objective to create a culture of well-being for all of our workplaces, and they are an integral part of our team's efforts to promote well-being. Truthfully, we couldn't do any of this without you.
Okay. You guys are all of our cheerleaders for your peers. Champions are advocates to their leaders and dedicated learners in their voluntary role to support well-being for their colleagues. And you do this all on top of your regular job duties and everything else that pretty much 2020 has thrown your way. And at this moment, I would like to play a short slideshow that will highlight all the wonderful things you have done to support employee well-being. And I was truly amazed by all of the photos I have collected through the years to highlight the programs, activities, and events and trainings that you have all brought to the workplace. So please sit back and enjoy this short slideshow that highlights the champion journey.
Wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I wouldn't walk 500 miles and I wouldn't walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm walking, because I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I broke, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's growing old with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be a man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. I'm lonely, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. When I go out, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed that. It's a little token of just us trying to capture all of the things that you do and an opportunity for us to say thank you again. Every poster you put up, every email you send out, every time you brave standing in front of your peers to promote well-being, every activity or stretch that you lead or organize, you're helping us to create a positive culture for our workplaces. So today, we planned a series of activities to show our appreciation and to provide you an opportunity to also practice self-care for your personal well-being. This year has been challenging, as Lisa said, it's been unpredictable, but also it has been an opportunity where we have been able to show our city's strong character to come together and to support one another. One way we can support one another and all of our employees, and especially all of our essential workers, is to prioritize well-being. We hope that today's theme, Inspire and Create, resonates with you as you experience today's activity, and that you are inspired to create a culture of well-being for yourselves and for our workplaces. Due to changes in the mayor's schedule, we are pleased to announce Mary Ellen Carroll, Executive Director of the Department of Emergency Management, who has graciously agreed to step in to provide opening remarks. Mary Ellen is an esteemed leader among our departments and has played an essential role in leading the efforts for our COVID-19 response. It's an honor for me to introduce her to our main stage today. Thank you for joining us, Mary Ellen.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? We're good. Fun thumbs up. Thank you. Wow, that was so inspiring and also so crazy to see everyone so close together and not wearing masks. And just a reminder of, I don't know, just a reminder of kind of, you know, what we've gone through, where we'll be again, but also where we are right now. And, you know, there's really nowhere else to be except in the present moment. So here we are, right? And I think this is all about making the best of it, being present and, you know, being alive and doing the things to make our experience here as healthy and meaningful as possible. So I just want to thank you. It was great to see all that. So yes, as the Executive Director of the Department of Emergency Management, my team coordinates the everyday and not so everyday emergencies in our city. In many cases, my team interacts with residents who are experiencing the worst day of their life. I have a little story to tell about that a personal story for me. I know what that worst day feels like. Just a little bit before I was appointed to this position, a few months before, I was hit by a car while riding my bike in San Francisco. So I've been commuting by bike in San Francisco for 25 years. It's a huge part of my wellness and I love it. But unfortunately, the inevitable in some ways happened and I was hit from behind. And as I was laying on 16th Street with a broken back that day, I felt all those feelings, helplessness, confusion, fear. But someone called 911. That DEM dispatchers jumped into action. They dispatched an ambulance, a paramedic and EMT helped me and took me to SFGH, and then I was taken care of by doctors and nurses there. This was one of obviously the most terrifying moments of my life, but I will always be grateful to everyone who helped me that day, but especially everyone here at DEM. And so not only am I so honored to support the DEM team here in this leadership role at DEM, but I also understand the stress that they go through every day. And by the way, I'm fine. I recovered well, thank goodness, and just incredibly grateful. So I just thought I would share that. But my appreciation for my team is not only professional, but very personal. So I am so excited to be with you today because all of you are so instrumental in helping your team possibly prevent some of those bad days from happening. but also get through this incredibly stressful time that we're in. I know for many of you, your work as well-being champions are in addition to an already full plate. You don't necessarily have to be doing this. And that is so inspiring. And I want to thank each and every one of you for stepping up to do that. And it's been amazing to hear about all the creative ways that you take care of your department, your coworkers, and yourselves. So I've heard about the City Planning Commission and how they arranged a socially distanced neighborhood bingo night, which sounds totally fun. How the Port Runners created a shelter-in-place running challenge where they beat their all-time single mile clocked in a week and collectively walked well over 400 miles. Or how during the first 3 months, during the height of our shelter in place, rec and park executives, managers, and analysts conducted well-being checks with every single member of their team every 2 weeks just to see how they're doing, which I hadn't heard of before then. And so that resulted in about 1,000 connections and sent additional resources to staff that needed it. So that's really incredible, and I really applaud all of you. We also know a little bit about getting creative over here with limited resources. I think that one of the, and now everything sort of melds together, but I know you all remember it was mostly in October, but a little in September. We had to get creative when we had fires burning everywhere in San Francisco. We had terrible air quality, some of the worst that we've seen. We had lightning storms, unbearable heat, and then there was a day that the sun didn't come out that we refer to here as Orange Wednesday. All of this on top of a global pandemic. And so we did what we do here and dug deep. We pivoted to our core messages, went to what we had, but we also had to figure out, we were able to open in-person respite centers for heat and air during a time in which there was a terribly contagious viral pandemic happening. And so, it just takes a lot of internal calm, and it just takes a lot of quick thinking. And so, I'm so proud of the team that was able to do that. And our city's civil servants are a reflection of San Francisco's rich history of diversity. Our city has shown, our city workers have shown that they are the backbone that keeps this city running. They are working hard to build and maintain an inclusive infrastructure from which all San Franciscans can establish and build their dreams. It takes that diverse workforce that has been through the trenches to understand and empathize with the plight that many residents of our community are enduring to get through this pandemic and realize their dreams here in San Francisco. So many of these employees, including many of your coworkers and perhaps many of you here, have really selflessly stepped into the roles as DSW workers. These are roles that are unfamiliar to them. They put additional pressure on them and their families. In many cases, many people came into work when we were telling everyone to stay home for your own safety. And finally, none of us expected that these roles would last this long. But here we are. We are in an unprecedented global pandemic where new challenges continue to arise, and we have to meet them going forward. And I just want to add also that due to the amazing work of our city workers across the board, how San Francisco has endured this pandemic has been nothing short of miraculous. If you compare our numbers of people who have had the disease, who are testing, and honestly, when you look at the death count, which every death is a tragedy, it is a human being, it's someone's family, child, parent, but what you don't see are the numbers in almost every other city, and that means lives were saved. And so I can't I can't miss the opportunity to just note that and give people credit for that incredible work that has been done. And speaking of work, we spend about a third of our lives at work. For some of us over the last 9 months, it's a higher percentage of that, but that's the job. But that's half of our waking hours at work. And, you know, we're asking everyone now under extraordinary duress, especially people who have young children that they're trying to teach. Thank goodness my kids are in and out of college. My heart is out to people who have little kids and are trying to do this and do their job. But we're asking everyone under extraordinary duress to bring their whole self to this work and to be present day in and day out. And that is honestly asking people to be superhumans. And so we have to help them. We have to support people. And it's not always easy to walk that walk to be a model. And there are days that I struggle with that. But my strategy has been to share how hard it is for me, to share the good and the bad. In the first few months when we were doing daily briefings with hundreds of people, and I would say a few words at the beginning of our briefing, every day I would tell them what I did that day, or that morning usually, to take care of myself. And maybe I did yoga, or maybe I took my dog to the beach. But I'd let people know, you know, or the weekend, this is what I did. I took these 2 hours to share. I also recently shared on our all hands meeting, of which there's like 300 people or more sometimes on that call. We do that every Friday. I shared a story about the mayor telling me I needed to take a week off. And I was mad about it. I didn't want to take a week off. I didn't feel like there was anywhere to go. I didn't want to leave my team. And in fact, when I did go away, I went to Santa Cruz, and I'm a surfer, so I went down to go surfing. And I sent Sean Ellsburn a picture, and I was like, "Are you happy now? I'm on vacation. Tell everyone I'm on vacation." I was like really, really having issues. But honestly, I needed it so badly. And at the end of that week, I came back and I felt so much better. And so I shared that story. I was like, when people tell you to go on vacation, like they're not trying to punish you. Like, we're looking out for you, and we have to look out for ourselves. And then finally, I'll just say, for the election has been very stressful, obviously. And I have made it a priority for the last 5 days to get in the water. Even if it's like super early in the morning and freezing cold, or if I'm able to I was able to sneak out at lunch one day. But I do those things because it keeps me going. And so I try to talk about that. And, you know, not everyone is like a weird adrenaline junkie like me, but like whatever it is that makes you happy, right? I think we all need to lead by example and show our vulnerability when it comes to this stuff. So, you know, that's to say our teams are looking up to us. It's not always easy, but, you know, the more that we can do, and everything that I've heard about all of you doing throughout all of this and before the pandemic and will in the future is so incredibly important. And as Abby said in her executive director's message, your health and well-being is the foundation from which you can better serve, you know, your family, your friends, and your community. So that's why it's so important that we support the city's emotional and physical well-being. And we bear that responsibility as we drive toward a light at the end of the tunnel of this pandemic. We still have to get through vaccinations, so that's going to be a thing. But we see the light, and we take care of a lot of other people, but we also have to take care of ourselves, because this work that you do as champions and the creative ways that you've come up with to take care of your team is why I know San Francisco is going to continue on this path of success, continue on this path of saving lives, taking care of the vulnerable, and that we will come out of this more resilient, stronger, and we will recover. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you all, and thank you for the work that you do every day.
Thank you, Mary Ellen, for those. Thank you, Mary Ellen, for those uplifting words and recognizing the hardship that the city and champions and employees have experienced these past few months. Champions definitely inspire me, our team, and we've learned so much from all of you and all the work that you do around the city. Next, I'm pleased to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Fiona Wilson, the supervising physician for DHR. I'm going to quickly read a little background about Dr. Wilson. So Dr. Wilson grew up in the Bay Area. She attended Harvard Medical School and did her residency at UCSF. She practiced primary care internal medicine for close to 20 years at UCSF, then moved to administration at Brown and Tolan Physicians as their chief medical officer. She came to City and County of San Francisco in May of 2020 to support DHR and their COVID response team. And along with her stellar career, she has 2 college-age children and is married to a sculptor and enjoys her time outdoors. Thank you, Dr. Wilson, for joining us.
Great. Well, first off, thank you for having me. Thank you to the team, to Irene and Lisa and Carrie. And really a bigger thank you to all of you champions and the day that's ahead to recognize the great work that you do. So obviously I am probably, I think both JJB and I are the newbies to this team of the city and county, the city family. And I'll say that just a couple words about joining the city. I mean, it's a complicated organism, a complicated organization, if you will. And I think as a number of you who already know me know, I have lots of questions, and it's not just that I'm curious. I do ask questions like, why do we do things this way? I'm always looking at how can we do things even better. So it's not coming from a doubt about how we do it, but always trying to excel with that. How can we improve? Another quick comment about me is just that obviously as a physician, but I love helping and caring, right? It's something that I've done professionally. It's something that really energizes me. So it's something that feeds me, and that in turn sort of turns to you all and energizes you. So I do want to touch on Mary Ellen's example of you have to care for yourself and really attend to being well yourself, because when you do that, you're capable of caring for others. You can be more generous. And so today, many of these activities are going to be geared towards recognizing you, but they're with the intention of kind of regenerating your engines and batteries too. So I was going to make a couple comments about why does well-being matter. There's actually a whole lot of science behind this, and I don't say that as the physician on the call here, but it's come from research that's been done in the business community. So we don't often think about that, but they've done a lot of work about the importance of well-being and knowing that the stronger the well-being in the workplace, the better the outcomes. And that can be the higher productivity, the stuff they're making, they make more of it. Okay, that's not necessarily what we do, but importantly, that employees have greater satisfaction, they feel more fulfilled, they're more engaged, they're more effective. Those are all things that really resonate to us. And then importantly, the greater the well-being in the work site, the less turnover there is. So we all know the disruption of turnover and dissatisfaction. There's less of that. There's less burnout. There's less dissatisfaction. So from a business side, businesses like all that stuff because they make more money. That's what they're interested in. For us, it matters to us because it gives us a richer culture. And we are more effective as a city family, the term I like, that you all use, is that we're more effective and we're more engaged. So that well-being does really matter. So I want to talk for a couple minutes just about what's that vision for well-being at the workplace? And I've sort of thought about this some and thought of sort of three what I think are kind of core elements to that. You know, we just looked at these great pictures and slideshow of food and yoga and hula hoops and hopscotch. Wow, costuming bingo, just like it was so awesome. And what I really saw was community. So that's just the first word I want to really recognize. I think community is so important. And it wasn't just the group shots. It was just what I really see in all that is joy. I see engagement. I see diversity. I see teams. I see all of this richness. And exactly what you also pointed out, I was like, unmasked, closer than 6 feet. Oh my God, it sort of highlighted, to your point, it was a little bit of a different era. And to Mary Ellen's point, we will be there again. We're just not. So it doesn't mean we don't do activities. We just need to do it and think about it slightly. And that's where I get to my second word after community was imagination. We have to do this work. We have to think about how do we get to that feeling, that connectedness. How can we do what we need to do and even better in this challenged environment? So community, imagination. And boy, do we know this is a challenged environment. So obviously, you know, pandemic shapes our closeness, our masking, but it is not the only uncertainty and destabilizing moment. I mean, who's not been checking results? We have an uncertainty around an election. We have racial inequity. We have climate issues. We have so many other extra plus stressors that have added on to what we already were dealing with starting in March. So I think we have to acknowledge that those things distract us. They wear us down. And it's even why well-being matters even more now, okay? Because we need it even more. We need to feel part of a community at this time when things feel very fragmented and very challenged, okay? So I think it just sort of says, wow, we need this even more, which again gets back to the great work that you guys do. So lastly, my third word, when I think about that vision for well-being in the workplace and what kind of culture, what should that look like? I think this is my word, the foundation of this is compassion. The compassion really sits at the base of what we do. It makes us, we bring caring, we bring kindness, we bring decency. These are all core things that are what drives many of us and drives us to connect. It connects us with our peers, and importantly, it connects us with the public. It connects us who we serve. So when employees feel that they are supported and they're positive in their work site, that they feel that they can do their work, they're more effective, they bring their work to its finest level. They're compassionate, they're engaged, they're satisfied, they're effective. They're what we all want to be and what we're striving to be. So ultimately, all these efforts that you all do in your many departments, keep bringing those elements of community, compassion, imagination to your work sites that help elevate where we are as a city. Ultimately, your well-being efforts create that environment, and it's not, again, just for your coworkers, it's for the city and county of San Francisco, it's for everybody that is involved. So we are all in this together, and the work that you do is helping us be as successful as we've talked about. Again, I want to thank you. You do great work, and let's do this, okay? Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Wilson. Those words were so amazing, and just to really iterate that well-being is so important more than ever right now for our community of city. Our next guest speaker is JJV, and I would love to share a little bit about JJV. JJV, whose name is Jacqueline Joseph Veal, has been with City and County of Services for 5 months in a newly created role for DHR as the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Director. She comes with a wealth of experience in areas of affirmative action, equal employment, diversity, and equity. Over her 20-plus year career, she has worked in various industries ranging from high tech to manufacturing. She is excited about the opportunity to collaborate with her colleagues across the city in ensuring that the city provides equity, inclusive, and belonging environment for all of its employees. So I would like to welcome JJV.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Carrie. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here this morning with you. It's my honor to be with individuals who are ambassadors and champions for a culture of well-being. It's also my pleasure to be among my esteemed colleagues here today that's already got me motivated. Hopefully they've gotten you motivated again. Again, thank you for this opportunity. Realizing that this year's theme is Inspire and Create, I thought it would be good to understand Webster's definition of these terms. When I looked up inspire, I saw words like excite, encourage, breathe life into. When I looked up create, the definition said bring something into existence. I'm a fiction writer by nature. I love to create new realities that will excite and encourage. But more than anything, I love breathing life into my characters, to the point I sometimes speak about them as if they're real. I have to share an experience with you. I've written a tetralogy, and the main character of my story is Portia. I created her to be the most complex character that one could ever imagine. I enjoyed speaking about some of her experiences within the life I created for her. I remember a couple of years ago vacationing in South Africa and getting ready for New Year's Eve celebration, and my brother pulled me aside and asked, "Jay, do you mind leaving Portia at home tonight?" Of course, only to ask me before the end of the night, "Jay, what do you think Portia would have done?" I proclaimed in that moment, aha, she does exist. If I had to breathe life into our working environment and how we existed, it would be one where the beginning of the workday would be only the start of inspiration and creation. Can you imagine a world where you can get up every morning excited about the opportunities that exist? The opportunities to be part of something that's bigger than yourself. Can you imagine living in a world where you made a difference in the life of others? Can you imagine a world where your creativity is just the beginning of intersectionality of all of community? Can you imagine a work environment where each and every person genuinely feels welcome, respected, valued, and engaged? Can you imagine a work environment that employees felt that they belong in whatever they were involved and wherever they were involved doing it? As well-being champions, that is what you do. It is evidence when in a time of COVID-19 and working from home, you set up virtual motivation days to inspire employees to continue on their journey. As a response to the racial tensions that arose from George Floyd's murder, you set up safe spaces for employees to discuss and process their emotions and their feelings. When you found out that employees were feeling disconnected and no one called to ask them about their well-being, you began incorporating check-in calls. You listened to the stories about a person's personal battle with being overweight for most of their lives. Despite being called the health police, you have celebrated the accomplishments that person has made over the past year, where during COVID, most of us has gained 10 pounds, if we're lucky. I could list a multitude of things that you have accomplished collectively and individually. You continue to find creative and innovative ways to respond to the challenges that we face throughout 2020. Because you are in a perpetual state of giving, as a giver, you also need inspiration. What I also refer to as a power source. Think about things, places, people, events that are inspirational to you. My daily inspiration comes from my spiritual beliefs. This is my primary and essential power source. But I have been blessed to have many people within my life who have also served and serves as inspiration. I grew up in a small town in central Louisiana where my grandmother was my first source of inspiration, my first mentor, my first life coach, my first power source. She died when I was 11 years old, and now in my young older age, she is still my power source. In May of this year, I lost another one of my inspirations to lung cancer. I often recall the stories he shared with me about his life and his journey to being one of the most successful CEOs in the nonprofit world. One thing he shared with me is to not take oneself too seriously. He embraced being zany and fun. Being the director of diversity and inclusion for the company that he led, I often cringed when he spoke because I was afraid of what might come out of his mouth, which usually range from not being politically accepted to sometimes being downright offensive. I recall one day we were in a room with federal government auditors, and after trying to explain his position for the third time, he looked at them and said, "What, are you all just idiots or something?" But whatever came out, everyone knew that he was being both transparent and authentic, which garnered much love and respect from his employees. But in this situation, caused a fine from the auditors. I developed my own PSA, public service announcement, where I recited, "The words that may come out of his mouth does not necessarily reflect the views of this company." When times get difficult, I often think about his transparency, his authenticity, and his demand on insisting that we have fun in the workplace. As well-being champions, I urge you to find what inspires you and allow that to be your power source. Champions, you are the key players, the catalysts, the drivers to making a difference in the culture of our work environment. Within my job description, it states, the DEI director will partner with other city departments and lead citywide efforts to create a more equitable, inclusive workplace where all city employees feel valued, respected, and engaged at work. I know I can't do this alone. Just as it takes a village to raise a child, it takes all of us to work toward an inclusive and belonging environment. I look forward to this journey with you and in partnering with you and inspiring and creating an environment where all employees are provided the opportunity to thrive. I started off with the definition of inspire and create. I would like to end with the definition of champion. There are a variety of definitions I found. A winner of first place, one who shows marked superiority, one that does battle for another's right or honor. These are all notable characteristics that you all possess. But I want to steal from Ludacris's definition of champion as he spits out in The Champion by Carrie Underwood. I would showcase my mad skills as a rapper, but have decided this time to just recite what Luda rapped. The C is for courage. The H is for honor. The A is for attitude. The M is for motivation. The P is for persevere. The I is both for integrity and innovation. The O is for optimistic. And the N is for necessary. We lift you up. We celebrate you. We salute your commitment to serving as well-being champions for our department, for your department and the city of San Francisco. Thank you, champions, for your dedication and continued work in this area.
Wow, okay. What a way to start our Friday. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ellen, Dr. Wilson, and JJV for your inspiring words. I love how you all brought so much enthusiasm to our main stage. I'm so appreciative to work alongside leaders who role model the culture of well-being we strive for. All of us can help to make ripples of well-being, and we're definitely going to capture JJV's acronym for champion moving forward.